I guess we can read Alvin's note. We can still read Alvin's note. Looks like a letter stained with blood, blah, blah, blah. And Alvin just talks to us in the letter about how, well, he wants to give up everything to be with Mary, I think, or not Judas. No, he wants to give up everything to be with Judas, which technically is us. But he is not to be trusted, so I think I've said that. So your path really doesn't change. You basically go back to the door that you, or the director's office door, but you can't open it immediately. Locked. The key still sticks on the other side. Maybe I can get it somehow. So the key is on the other side of the door, and that's where Alvin dropped it off, I guess, or whatever, expecting that you wouldn't be able to get at the key. But since we have a handkerchief now, use handkerchief. So you shake the lock in the door, the key drops off, and then we get the key. You got the bloody key back. Okay, so now that we are on the path to the perfect ending, the bathroom scene changes also. Not just the scene with Alvin, but you'll see what I mean. Like, the note that we find is still the same. Mirror still looks the same. Of course, there's nobody on the other side. Of course. What the? This is where things get different. A note? Where did this come from? Hello? Is someone there? Nothing. Maybe it was only the wind. What's this note doing here anyway? The darkness surrounds me completely. It restricts me. It gnaws at my skin. But as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall have no misfortune, for you are with me. Your light will shine up my stony path. Soon you will be with me. I love you. I expect you, my savior. Judith, my Judith. Even the note changes slightly, and the other Judith shows up. What is that? I don't know if you jumped or not at that part, but the first time I saw that, I jumped. But sorry, it's the second time I'm doing this one, but that's definitely a surprise when you first see it. So someone does walk into the room and place the flashlight down, but for the most part, a lot of the bathroom scene is different, and you actually get to read more of the letter. What happened? This flashlight, it dazzles me. Perhaps I should take it with me. And then it begins to rain. Once it's raining inside the school, you're pretty much on your way to the perfect ending. The main differences between the perfect ending and the other two endings in the game that I showed you guys, I think there's two. Well, I guess if you include the other endings, like the one where you go to that house on that other street, and then when you try to leave town, those count as two other endings. So yeah, maybe 4 extra endings total, and then this ending. The main difference being is avoiding talking to Alvin and being able to look at the painting in the art room. But I think a majority of it is avoiding talking to Alvin at the right time, and I think you can get the good ending. So the next step on the agenda, it's probably broken, I can't open it. This is the fire doors, but the fire doors are still closed, and there's now a bunch of papers scattered everywhere. I don't know if that's I think that's the same as when we played the last time and we got the bad ending. The next step is to take the flashlight and read all the documents in the dark to get the full story. So we're going to go first to the... Okay, it turns out that the notes in the first office really don't change. They just talk about the Mary statue. Each of the 3 sheets that change in the dark will say that it's too dark to read. Maybe if I had some more light, I could read it. So you use the flashlight on each one. There's a sheet. I can read it now. It looks like a diary page. Bad men come at night, especially him, the horned one, the devil. I'm afraid. They catch one of us regularly, and if he returns, then he is different. Just like her, she was so different. Around her neck, a sling appeared. And then one day she just hangs there, high up above our heads. I don't want to get different. There's something in another handwriting. Find the author. So that is one note. The diary entries look like they've changed. It's too dark, though, to see anything. If I could maybe find some light. The pages are all blank except a little piece. Secretary's Diary B. I've seen something terrible. As every day I went around the schoolyard. When I went into the east wing then and followed a nice piano melody. I saw the director, Chief Surrey, and another man I couldn't recognize through a slightly open door. They crowded this little girl and hit and kicked at her. It was so disturbing. I couldn't get her crying out of my head. It was little Sophie, the orphan, which was teased by the other children. Like most of the orphans, she must have said something she wasn't supposed to, I guess. It was about a room and something they were doing in there, but I couldn't understand much more, 'cause they'd already noticed me. I ran downstairs instinctively and stumbled. The director grabbed me and stared into my eyes. He said, I've got to forget what I've seen and heard. He gave me something to forget. It will make me different. I know it. Soon I'm not myself anymore. So this will be the last entries I'm doing consciously. Whoever reads this, please bring this all to an end. This whole disgusting story. Jennifer Gordon, 21st March 1983. I don't think Jennifer Gordon is the police officer lady, it's someone else. Who probably isn't around anymore. The report looks like it's changed. It's too dark though to see anything. If I could maybe find some light. So also, you do want to pay attention to when you get close to the end of the game, your I think I talked about this in the beginning of the game. Your sanity meter starts to drop really the more like creepy things you learn about the school, and the more crazy things happen to you and that you witness. You start to get a little crazy. So when it gets to, you only have one tranquilizer in the game, so when it starts to get to yellow or a little bit low, just take a tranquilizer and you should be able to make it to the end of the game without I haven't actually tested it. I haven't played the game to see what happens to me if I do lose all my sanity. I'm assuming you just die, or the game ends or whatever. Yeah, anyway, pay attention to that. It looks like a patient report. School nurse's patient report. The student Sophie Milliken broke down this morning in class. That's the third time this week, as I asked her to lift her t-shirt so I could listen to her heartbeat. She trembled so easily. It was terrible. The entire torso was covered with bruises. I asked about them, but she didn't want to talk. I wanted to go to the headmaster because it was very likely that she was abused, but Jenny said I was better off staying quiet. The look in her eyes and the urgency in her voice told me that she had justified concerns in warning me. I have to ask myself if it was right to remain silent. And Sophie is the little girl. I don't know whether the little girl represents you or Mary or the other girl as a young girl. I'm not really sure. But I believe Sophie is the young redheaded girl. To search basically everywhere around the school. Aha! So the box has appeared in the room. So eventually, once you get to, you're nearing the perfect end, this box appears in the room where you would have talked to Alvin. A small rusty crate is lying on the table. I can't move or open it. It looks like it has 4 keyholes. There's something scored on it. If you hurt me, I will hurt you. What could that mean? Basically, the next part of the game becomes you looking for the 4 keys to that box. And I forget where we find the first one. You kind of find them in succession. And the door to that place is still locked. I guess we can read Alvin's note. We can still read Alvin's note. Looks like a letter stained with blood, blah, blah, blah. And Alvin just talks to us in the letter about how, well, he wants to give up everything to be with Mary, I think, or not Judas. No, he wants to give up everything to be with Judas, which technically is us. But he is not to be trusted, so I think I've said that. So your path really doesn't change. Of course. What the? This is where things get different. A note. Where did this come from? Hello? Okay, so now that we are on the path to the perfect ending, the bathroom scene changes also. Not just the scene with Alvin, but you'll see what I mean. Like, the note that we find is still the same. Mirror still looks the same. Of course, there's nobody on the other side. So you shake the lock in the door, the key drops off, and then we get the key. You got the bloody key back. You basically go back to the door that you, or the director's office door, but you can't open it immediately. Locked. The key still sticks on the other side. Maybe I can get it somehow. So the key is on the other side of the door. And that's where Alvin dropped it off, I guess, or whatever, expecting that you wouldn't be able to get at the key. But since we have a handkerchief now, use handkerchief.